Hi everyone, thank you for coming to my Vulnerably Badass YouTube channel. Today I want to talk about my top 10 news for the year 2021 because as of right now, this is the end of the year, December 31st. And I think I do that every year almost, whether I publicly talk about it or not, but I look back the year and what was the biggest accomplishments or big news for me. So I did that for this year too. And I might be maybe missing some of the things, but 10 things that came to my mind I would like to introduce. So number one, the biggest news, or maybe I should start with number 10. Number 10 is I started playing tennis. Tennis is something that when I was little, I used to play in my neighborhood, but not in a tennis court. I had my brother was playing tennis when he was in high school and university. So I had my brother's racket and tennis balls at house. And when I was in elementary school with my neighborhood friends, we played in just an open space. So it wasn't really tennis, but I was familiar with hitting the ball or grabbing a racket, but it was too big for me. But so after reading, I think digital minimalism and learning about how high quality leisure time, I decided, I want to do something off screen and with other people and play. Then I found a little flyer in our community that there is a tennis group and they play twice a week. So I contacted them and I started playing once a week on Friday. So that was great. I get to meet people, from different, in the same neighborhood, but different backgrounds. So that's something that I tried to get out of my comfort zone and started something new. And number 9 is I worked on this large-scale intercultural project that was about US and Korea culture, and it was for this company for Korean people. It was like a M&A company, so there was American company and a Korean company, and these Americans and Koreans are working together. That program was online, but 6 weeks, and I worked with large number of people. So it was in terms of the number of people involved and the length, 6-week program, I think it was the longest program for me. So I think it was the biggest accomplishment for this year's work. And the number 8 is face-to-face program in Georgia. Because of COVID and also the trend in the training or intercultural training or coaching, it has been, more and more online programs, but because of COVID, everything, 100%, everything was online. But for the first time in November, I had face-to-face group intercultural program, US, Korea. And it was really nice for me to travel in a business trip. I don't know when was the last time I did business trip, maybe 2 years ago. But yeah, it felt like forever to do this. So yeah, online has good things, because you can just wear whatever nice clothes and just wear sweats at the bottoms, and then you don't have to commute, but at the same time, face to face, really working with people in front of you and sharing the space and sharing the energy together. It has special feelings. So it was really nice to have the face to face training. So that's number 8 for me. And number 7 is this started that I started to use this app called Libby. It's an app for public library. You can find audiobooks or digital books online and you can read or listen to. And because it's connected to public library system, everything is free. So I enjoy this so much. And of course, it's public library. So all these like really popular books, you have to wait like 13 weeks or 14 weeks, so many weeks. But as far as those, if you are just interested in any book, not really latest book or super popular book, you can just wait a few weeks and it will be ready and you can listen or you can read. So I've been using that so much. And so that affected my Audible habit. So I stopped listening to Audible and I end up canceling the subscription because Libby has technically everything if it's available. So I enjoy doing using the Libby. That was number 7. And number 6 is about my son. I started, I think, putting more energy into letting him learn different languages and cultures because he immigrated with me to the US, and the more he got used to his American environment and English, I found him speaking English all the time and speaking English even to me. So I felt like, he is a native Korean speaker, so I wanted him to kind of continue speaking Korean. So I started sending him to Korean school from fall. And although that Korean school isn't really high level, like it's not targeting the native speakers, but I think it was a great way for him to connect with others. And another thing I'm trying to give him opportunity is to familiarize himself with Japanese. We've been like reading and writing with the Japanese long distance study material, but not so much of everyday conversation. So now I thought at least I should be talking to him in Japanese. So even if he doesn't speak Japanese, he will be more comfortable hearing Japanese language and recognize some words or understand at least. So for him, it's trilingual situation, but I try not to, have fixed goal or anything, but just giving him more opportunities in terms of languages. And number 5 is that I tried BodPod, something called BodPod, where you can really check your body fat and body mass, weight, how many percentage and how much muscle you have. And also I started seeing nutritionists and health educator so they can give me the health advice. The reason was because I've been doing intermittent fasting and I wasn't sure if it's really healthy way for me or not. So the first time I went and I did the BodPod, and also I did I checked the resting metabolic rate. I was advised that my resting metabolic rate is so much lower than the normal. So that's probably because of the intermittent fasting, or because I don't eat after I do my early morning walk. My body is kind of hibernation mode. So I was recommended maybe I am losing not only fat but also muscle. So I was recommended to build more muscles so that muscles can increase the metabolic rate. So that's something I've been doing. And also the nutritionist gave me the advice to eat right after my workout. So that was a big shift for me. I used to go for a walk early in the morning, but because I want to eat and I want to keep intermittent fasting, I moved my walk or workout time to right before lunch. So after I run or walk, I can come home and eat protein and complex carb. So yeah, that's been great. I've been lifting weights too, so I gained muscles and my body fat is the same. So I think I'm doing good job or great job. So I'm really thankful I have this opportunity to meet health educator and nutritionist. And then number 4 is I got COVID vaccine and a booster. So yeah, I was so scared of COVID, and coming to US in January was kind of like looked crazy because of the last year's Thanksgiving and Christmas break. The COVID rate was going so high, and after even arriving US, I was so worried. And one of the fear comes from losing my son from cancer. Like if anything happens to your son or to your family, or especially I guess your child, I still suffer from, what could I have done? Maybe I didn't do enough, or if I didn't do this, or if I did this, even after 2 years, I think about that. And I just don't want that to happen to my second son. Like after he gets COVID, like, oh, I shouldn't have gone to that gathering, or I shouldn't have taken him to this place or something. So I'm a little bit paranoid about this, but getting COVID vaccine, 2 shots, the first one on my birthday in April, and then the second one, and then the booster in November, maybe feel more comfortable. Although right now we have the new variant and it's going so crazy in US again, so I feel like I'm back to square one. But at least my son is fully vaccinated too, so that's something that I'm grateful. And number 3 is that I became a national park geek, and I've been to 3 national parks. Of course, even before I came to US, I visited to Grand Canyon or the national park in Hawaii or different national parks, but then it wasn't like intentional. Like, oh, I really like national parks. So what happened was in July, before I went to Shenandoah National Park, and I really got into it. And one of the reasons could be listening to A Walk in the Woods, the book. And so it was about hiking, but it kind of influenced me. The Shenandoah National Park is a great place. So I did hike and I really liked it. And because of COVID, since last year, I have been walking more, going outside more, being in the nature more. So I was like, yes, national park is the thing. I don't have to worry too much about COVID, but still have fun. So then after that, I got National Park Adventure Guide, and I went to Rocky Mountain National Park and New River Gorge National Park, and I had great experiences at all these 3 parks. So that's something I'm proud of. And number 2 is immigrating to US in January, me and my son immigrated and started our life with my husband here in Northern Virginia. And yeah, it's a big life-changing moment, or it's a milestone or life event. So it's a big change for me. Pretty much like last time was 7 years ago, from Japan to Korea. And Japan to Korea is like, yeah, it's really similar. You can go back and forth, close. So it wasn't really big shift. But now coming to US, it's not my first time. I lived in US 9 years ago, but still big shift from living in Asia for 15 years and coming back to US. And plus, because of COVID, it's not so easy to go back to Korea or Japan. So I feel like even more, I don't know, I feel more distance from Asia now. So that's the number 2 biggest news this year. And the last one, number 1, is I've been talking about this forever in my YouTube, but finishing Honolulu Marathon without walking. It was the biggest accomplishment. And some, of my friends who saw my pictures, my posts, or my video told me that, they get inspired and, they are motivated, they want to try. And I'm really happy that something that I did is influencing other people. And I think this Honolulu Marathon is very symbolizes kind of not so much of mastering, but like working your body and mind. It doesn't have to be only marathon. It can be anything, right? Like sports or martial arts or anything. It takes both your physical ability and physical efforts and mental ability and mental efforts. And Honolulu Marathon, yes, the 26.2 miles or 42.195K, running that distance itself is a challenge and it takes efforts, but I think it's more about training too. Can you stick to the training program, and can you commit and engage and keep doing the menu? And because you have to run at least five days a week, and then if you want to really train right, there is a menu that kind of increases the intensity or distance, and sticking to that was the key, I think. And I was able to stick to the menu. Sometimes I have to switch some days, but I did all the training menus. So I'm proud of that. And I believe just sticking to that made it possible for me to run the whole distance that race day. So I think it kind of shows the reality of the life too, Yes, doing something, accomplishing something is very important, but it's more about how you get there. It's about the process, and the process involves both physical commitment and mental commitment. And when you actually do that on that day, like when the physical suffering occurs, it's all about what kind of mental mantra you have. And it relates to the book I read, what was that? Victor, I forgot the name of the author, but Viktor Frankl. The meaning, what was it? The meaning of life? Or he's talking about the experience in Auschwitz, but concentration camps. But yeah, I think it's all about what you tell yourself inside. So yeah, definitely running the Honolulu Marathon for me is number 1. Although, compared to other people, my time isn't that fast, 5 hours and 38 minutes. Is that right? It's not fast pace at all, but it doesn't matter. Again, it's about you. So it's not so much of comparing with other people. So I think that accomplishment, again, changed my mentality. Maybe I became a badass now. But if I feel like funny, like being a badass, feel like you're more detached from kind of reality or this life. So anyway, those are the 10 biggest news for me in 2021. And I feel like all of these things are related to health, physical and mental health. So I want to ask you, how about you? What are your top 10 news that, that happened to you, or top 10 accomplishments you had? It will be a great opportunity for you to look back. By the time this video is done, maybe it's New Year. So if it's New Year, what kind of 10 things you would like to accomplish this year? So thank you for coming to my Vulnerably Badass YouTube channel, and see you next time. Bye.